This is the moment, at least, that is one step closer in their legal struggle, which is to have a scientific evidence proven that there was a temple underneath, for which the ASI survey, as permitted, as ordered by the district court, Varanasi, is there. The Muslim side already reaching the top court, the Supreme Court, stating this should be absolutely unacceptable, this should not be allowed, we will not be participating in this survey. Take a look at these visuals that are coming in live on your screens and the reactions also that have come in, specifically of those who had first petitioned in the court. Listen in.
आज का जो सर्वे होगा, पहले क्या था? पहले हम लोग कहीं जो इससे पहले सर्वे हुआ था, आज की सर्वे में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क है। फर्क ये है कि उस सर्वे में हम लोग जब गए तो हम लोग जो प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण दिख रहे थे, जैसे खंडित मूर्तियां थी, घंटे थे, तो उसमें धूल लगे हुए थे। उसको उंगली से हम लोग टच नहीं कर सकते थे, हटा नहीं सकते थे। लेकिन आज जो होगा वो वैज्ञानिक पद्धति से, रडार की पद्धति से होगा।
बहुत खुश है आज हम लोग समझे रात भर सोए नहीं है। इतना खुशी था हम लोग को कि हम लोग जाएंगे, जो कुछ पिछले कमीशन में नहीं मिला था वो इस सर्वे में हम लोग को मिलेगा देखने के लिए। आज से पूरी तैयारी में आज हम लोग व्रत भी हैं, सावन का महीना भी है और बहुत कुछ मिलेगा। आज
सावन का तीसरा सोमवार भी है और आज हम लोग का सर्वे प्रारंभ हो रहा है। हम लोगों के लिए अच्छा है, बाबा की कृपा है और सर्वे शांति ढंग से हो जाएगी।
Vishnu, as a legal team, as someone who has pursued it from day one, depending on this scientific survey, because the Muslim side has already moved the Supreme Court, they have already asked that this survey needs to stay, that let the mosque stay as it is. How much do you think you will be banking on the scientific survey details?
No, obviously this is a very, very important report. I must tell you that the courts have power under Section 45 of the Indian Evidence Act to call for an expert opinion. And in matters like this, ASI is the answer. If someone is saying that this structure is dating back to Aurangzeb, is prior to Aurangzeb, all these controversies can only be solved by an expert and premium body like ASI. The Supreme Court has also taken this view time and again, way back in 1994 in Ismail Farooq case, also recently as Ram Janmabhoomi case in 2021 SCC page 1. So ASI is the answer for all these things, and we are hopeful that ASI will be able to reveal various truths which are hidden behind the sealed walls.
All right, so let's try and understand the legal perspective now, because the Muslim side has already moved the Supreme Court against this specific scientific survey. Srishti Ojha is joining us in this live telecast now. Srishti, good morning. It's a big day with regard to the court as well. Now, the district court of Varanasi had given an approval, ordered this scientific survey. How is the other side pursuing it, and what is the reason that even the court has given a go-ahead for this?
Well, yes, Pooja, as of now, what we know, and this will be an important development now with the survey by the ASI already beginning today, the Muslim side is set to mention this particular, the Gyanvapi case before the Supreme Court of India today at 10:30. Now, they have not expressly challenged the order directing ASI survey yet. All they're set to do, if we can urgent listing of their other plea, which they through which they're seeking a stay on all the pending proceedings before the district court in Varanasi, which had also ordered this ASI survey. An urgent listing in this matter is being sought by the court from the court today, citing this particular order, which has directed the scientific survey of the Gyanvapi premises. Now, what we need to understand here is that according to the Masjid committee, the Muslim side, this particular order, which is directed an ASI survey, is in contempt of Supreme Court's order itself, because remember, Supreme Court had on 19th May deferred the scientific survey of one particular portion of the Gyanvapi premises, which was the Wazu Khana, which is exactly why today the survey that is being conducted has excluded that particular portion, where a shivling was stated to be found. Now, according to the Masjid committee, since an order was already passed by Supreme Court with regard to one portion of the premises, and the court had also, the Supreme Court had clearly said that the matter requires a more closer scrutiny, which is why the survey will be deferred till the Supreme Court hears the case. So this is the Masjid committee's stand, which is also what they'll mention before the Chief Justice of India today. They will cite the fact that the Supreme Court had itself stayed such an order in the past, and any order that has been now passed by the district judge is in clear contempt of the Supreme Court's order. while seeking urgent mentioning, they've also said, what the Masjid Committee has also said is that the Hindu plaintiffs, through the suit that they have filed, are seeking an entry into the Gyanvapi Mosque by illegitimate means. Not just that, while seeking urgent listing, they've also expressed apprehension of communal tensions, and therefore urgent orders are being sought from the Supreme Court to stay these proceedings before the district judge. Also, remember the High Court had upheld the case, the suit which has been filed by the Hindu plaintiffs seeking their right to worship in the Gyanvapi Mosque area. That order has also been challenged.
Yes, it also started with those 5 women who wanted to make the Shringar Gauri ritual as a daily affair. Now, Srishti, tell us how much of the Ayodhya case or the decision or the verdict in it could play a role in this, or should this be seen as a completely different, separate case and will have its own sort of repercussions with regard to its verdict?
Well, Pooja, that again depends completely on the court. As a precedent, of course, as a precedent judgment, the verdict may have some value, but the court will go on the facts and circumstances of this particular case. Remember, this case has been pending before the Supreme Court of India. Earlier, also the court had had moved the proceedings to the district judge and had had requested the district court to decide on the Order 7 Rule 11 application first, which is an application where you're challenging maintainability of a particular suit which has been filed. So the district court had in fact upheld the maintainability of the suit which has been filed by these Hindu plaintiffs. The Allahabad High Court had also upheld the order when the same was challenged by the Muslim side. And now that order of the High Court is again being challenged before the Supreme Court. That particular petition is what will be mentioned before the Supreme Court today, along with another request of a stay on all the proceedings that are going on before the district judge, which would automatically also mean that a mentioning of this particular ASI survey that is being conducted will be made before the court. The order will be placed on record, which is what we've heard from the sources who are close to the legal team of the Masjid Committee. So it is definitely an important mentioning and an important we're expecting an important update, because we'll have to see what's the Supreme Court's take today when the case is mentioned. The possible scenarios could be whether a Supreme Court decides to allow an urgent listing and list the case. If the Supreme Court decides to, in any order, if a stay is sought on the ongoing survey, will the Supreme Court grant any interim stay while when the mentioning is done today, or will the case just be listed and that's
so
when
it's
the
still a
Supreme Court
developing story. The scientific survey has been given a go-ahead by the District Court Varanasi. The Muslim side, however, has already moved the Supreme Court. They want a stay on the survey. They say they are not going to be participating in this at all. Srishti, I'll come back to you in just a short while. Thank you very much.